Radio.
Yes, yes, yes. This is another episode of Wake Up African People, and this is the Truth Doctor, along with Queen Ebony and Astro Black. I guess he'll be here in a minute. We'll check him on in, and we are interviewing a brother that lives in Baltimore by the name of Double R, and he's coming from the streets of Baltimore. He lives there, and he's going to give us the lowdown of what's going on there. Because you know we can't trust CNN, we can't trust ABC, we can't trust Fox News, we can't trust none of the mainstream outlets that's giving us the news. A lot of people think that a lot of these things are being perpetrated to get black people to revolt so they can kill a whole bunch of us at one time because of population control. You know, and they have to kill off a certain amount of their people. Each country signed onto that bill, the Global 2000 bill, to kill off a certain amount of their people. Now, you know the white birth rate is below zero. You know, they're not trying to kill off their people. They're not trying to kill off nobody, I don't even think they're trying to kill off the mulattoes. But it seems like they always shooting some dark brother down in the streets for some reason. And I've noticed this. I don't know if anybody else has noticed it, but I've always noticed these are dark, melanated brothers that get shot down. I haven't seen any light-skinned brothers, and I'm not saying there's none that haven't been shot down. Yeah, it was one shot in the back. He had a fake sword. I forgot about that. They thought he was going to cut somebody with the sword. He was one of these Chinese avatar hobbyists, and he dressed up like the avatar, and he had all fake stuff on like a little kid. He was just walking up the street, and the police shot him in the back. You know, so the night show is called the Klux Klan Lynching in Baltimore. And we're going to be talking about the brother Freddie Gray, and we're going to let the brother tell us about some of the things that he knows because he lives there, and he can tell us better than we can ever know because he's there. So I'm going to bring this brother on and let him drop knowledge, what he has on you. Brother Double R, the mic is yours.
All right, thank you. How y'all doing today? I'm Double R. I was born and raised Baltimore. This is my home. This is what I do. I love Baltimore. It's a decent city, but what has been going on in the past couple of days is just, like he said, population control. They want to see how fast they can lock down a major city that's populated with mostly blacks. So Freddie Gray was killed, and my sources tell me that he was beat and he was stomped out, and then they threw him in a van. When you see them, they threw him head first in a van. So the other person that was in the van said he heard, little knocks, thought he was hitting his head or something, and then it just stopped. So my thing is, why they didn't strap him in or make sure he was okay? But it's hectic because, like the Truth Doctor said, it's always a dark brother that's always targeted. But we have National Guard here. Like, we was on curfew, and we had National Guard here. Yesterday, when I drove through downtown, Raven Stadium, everything, National Guard, a lot of stuff blocked off. I've seen hundreds. So they lifted the curfew, but National Guard presence is still here. My only thing is that they might be trying to plan something else. But I'm going to get to the riots. They said that they received a letter stating that the kids were supposed to meet at Mondawmin Mall. The letter was fake, So Mondawmin Mall is a major transportation port. You have the subway. You have a lot of buses that go there. So that's where a lot of the kids from the schools go. So as the kids was trying to get home, they see the police in full riot gear, just picking with them. The police was tagging it on. So when you see the police in full riot gear and they shut down all the transportation, how's the kids gonna get home? So that's when it started as just throwing rocks at the police, and then that's when the whole riot started. And yeah, and when we had the curfew, it's a video floating around that you see white people, they got their white privilege, they got their WP card, they just sitting there with the police, and then you see a black brother get maced and slammed on the ground. It's crazy here because this is a fighting city. So most times, police do something, we really want to retaliate. It's us versus the police. It's no, oh, the police is our friend. No, it's us versus them. That's how we look at it. What a lot of our anger has come from. People try to compare this with black-on-black crime. You can't compare this with black-on-black crime. Black-on-black crime, usually someone goes to jail. But when you have this, usually when a police kill a brother, he don't go to jail. He get paid vacation, a severance packet, time off, and he get paid for life from the police union. That's kind of like enticing them to start hunting us. But we can't have that.
And you forgot about the donations that white people set up for them online.
Oh, yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Guy Trayvon Martin.
Oh, yeah. They set up a GoFundMe to bail the officers out, but somebody deleted it. They X that out, and the guy that they had on top of the police car smashing it, his bail was set at $500,000.
Yeah, they said if you have a criminal charge, you can't have a GoFundMe. So they took that down. They took all that off of there.
Yeah.
And they probably took it off of there because they got a lot of black customers, that use all that pay GoFundMe and all that. Because, they're not going to let a couple of police mess up their money. Because I heard that a lot of people, when they had that PayPal account up for the guy who shot Trayvon Martin, I heard a lot of black people was complaining about, them letting them get money for a murderer. And I think it affected them economically. They're not going to say it because they never want black people to know where their economic power is hurting them at. Because if we knew that the economic power was hurting them, that we would use it, because we think that it don't hurt when we don't shop at their stores and try to shop as less as possible from their stores. But it's almost impossible now because we don't have black businesses no more, basically. If you really want to count them, you might as well say we don't have no businesses compared to everybody else in America. Even the loneliest immigrants that have been brought over here from Vietnam and Korea and poor-ass countries, poor Arab countries and all that, have more businesses in America than black people that have been here forever. So this is a dilemma. And basically, me and the Queen, we're in the UNIA, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, an African Community League started by Marcus Garvey in 1914 in Jamaica, in 1916 here in America. And what's happening is, what we're saying is that we don't really push the rioting because we don't actually, I don't even look at it as rioting. I look at it as an insurrection, because riot is people that just, rowdy people that's doing it for pleasure and fun and all that stuff, but these people have reason. The guy was running from the police. These brothers would rather run from the police than just turn themselves in and get handcuffed because they don't know what's going to happen to them if they don't run from the police. So running from the police is no option. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
It's it's like we are in fear because you're right, we don't know what's gonna happen. So, we have that fight or flight. So a lot of times when we see the police, it's just natural to just run because even when you're not doing nothing, they still shake you down. These policemen go to these communities because they know them guys out there, and they pick with them and pick with them. I see it. They pick with the same guys. And, you don't know, today they might lock me up. Today they might try to shoot me. So, of course, a lot of guys will take their chances running because we don't trust the police.
From the history of Baltimore, even tell them about that picture they made, The Wire, that we talked about earlier. I heard that was some soft stuff compared to what's really going on down there in Baltimore. Because they flush the drugs every black community, in the nation. I mean, I went down south, back in the day when I was, doing a lot of crazy stuff out there. I had to flee down south. I think I'm going down south to the land of plenty and fruits and vegetables and everything growing all around you, people with nice gardens, and I'm going to paradise. And I get down there, it's just as cracked and festive in the city I ran from. And this is a little country town where you could see animals all around, people with animals penned up, cows and pigs, and it was cracked down there. People all cracked out. My grandmother used to leave and go out of town and leave her house open, and nobody would dare go into that house. But now they're breaking in houses and everything in these little rural country towns and stuff. So this stuff was planned. And sometime this week or even next week, I'm going to have Highway Rick Ross on my show. The real Highway Rick Ross, not that rapper. I'm talking about the real guy. And I talked to his representatives the other day. So he's going to come on and let us know how these drugs and stuff got pushed into the community, and they used him to be one of the people who, was pushing the drugs on our people. But he cleaned himself up, and he's using his experience as a platform to let our people know now. So I can forgive him, and I can give him a place on this show because he's doing the right thing now. But Queen Ebony, do you have any questions to ask the brother about what's going down there in Baltimore? Is Queen Ebony still with us? I don't know what Ebony, but she'll be back. But like I said, running from the police is no option now. Either run or get killed, or get beat, get harassed, or even get homosexualized. Because a lot of those police are homosexuals. They had one down here, I think it was in Arizona or somewhere, was raping illegal immigrants. He raped about 10 of them. And the thing is, he told them if they didn't do what he wanted them to do, he was going to take them to immigration and get them deported. So he used his police powers to carry out his sexual deviancy on the people. Brother, go ahead and let us know some more about down there in Baltimore.
Well, down here it's basically 4 parts. You got the county. That's a little more upscale, not much crime, And then you got east side, west side. And then you got where they don't shine a light, South Baltimore. That's where the gangs run free at. That's everybody that live at South Baltimore is below poverty. 1/4 of Baltimore, the city, is below poverty. So down there is that's where a lot of the drugs and stuff come in because it's Cherry Hill. You have ports and stuff there. So a lot of crimes go unreported. A lot of stuff just happens down there. It's that's a place where you don't want to go. And the police put drugs in our community, and they shake us down, and they kill us. It's just looking like a lose-lose situation. But I'm glad that the riots and everything, because that goes to show you that we stick together through injustice and oppression. When you have injustice in a city that the police resort to violence, when people backlash, it's going to be violent. You cannot have a peaceful protest when your oppressor is violent. You cannot let your oppressor dictate your protest and dictate how you run it. You just asking for failure. Then you had Al Sharpton come here. All people, we don't want him here.
I don't blame you for not wanting him here. Jesse Jackson came down there and got heckled out too. What do you know about that?
Yeah, we don't. I mean, I haven't heard anything on that, but we don't. We don't want them here. All they do is do their little ritual or whatever they do, and people think everything gonna be okay. No, everything is not gonna be okay, because when they leave and when it's all said and done, it's gonna go back to the same. We as a people need to make a statement. When something happens, pull together and do something about it, because if we don't do something about it, no one else is going to do nothing about it.
Well, I think my host, Astro, is with us now, and I'm going to let him chime on in. Astro, you with us?
Yes, brothers and sisters, I'm right here. How are y'all doing this evening? Pardon me for the inconvenience.
Yeah, you was a little bit late, but you're here, and the brothers letting us know. And I want you to go ahead and chime in on, ask the brother what you need to know, what he knows, and you're going to believe him for all the information he has.
Yeah, good evening, brother. How are you out there?
I'm doing good. Man, how are you?
Great. Thank you for being a guest on the show and providing the grassroots information for the audience about what's happening on the Baltimore on the front lines. What's really interesting, from my perspective, and seeing how the peaceful activism and the peaceful marching and the peaceful organizing is not what got the media attention. And so I remember it's been long before any of the things that have been happening recently. There had been thousands of people in Baltimore going to the police stations and asking questions, and all through the weekend before that. And it was when our black sisters and brothers who were out there marching on Saturday peacefully, as they would hit the downtown section over there by the Orioles Stadium, and you get those white devil honky motherfuckers who were out there, and they started throwing cans and M-bombs at our young brothers and sisters, and what excited the violence. Can you recap the details of that and talk about what really happened downtown and the kind of white racist hostility that Baltimore has inbred socially?
What happened was they was marching peacefully, and once the drunk white people came and they started, dropping the N-bomb, and they started throwing stuff, and that's when it broke loose, like around that area. That's downtown area, You have the whites that think they uppity, think they better than us. So, it's always going to be racism down there. Like, it's like you get funny looks, I'm over 6 feet tall, 230 pounds, dreadlocks, a full beard. So, I get looked at dirty all the time. So, it's like that, the racism that sits down there. And, when you got coming from the hood, and when you have that, we live in poverty. We living in two different worlds. The world we see and the world that they see is two different worlds. But long story short, that's how everything got to where it was, because they was, even to the point, they was calling the whites that was protesting, porch monkeys and, end lovers, and yeah, it just was, that's how a lot of the fights and stuff got started, they was, but you know, the media don't show that. You know, the media is like, you know, the fourth branch of the government. You know, the media just you know, there to you know, show us out. You know, the media there to, you know, show everybody how we act. You know, and not why we act the way we act, and not the events that led up to why we act the way we act.
So how do you feel about the media saying that you guys were thugs and it was criminals that were on the streets rioting, and knowing that in the media it was a picture on Facebook and Instagram, the same woman that was calling the rioters thugs, she had a ankle monitor bracelet on her leg, I guess for a DUI.
Because I guess that's what's in now. The call. I mean, if you recall, the thug, it started with Richard Sherman. That's when I took notice that they was calling a lot of us thugs, but yeah, she did have an ankle bracelet on, and you know, you can't expect the white media to portray a great image of a black man. So, you know, they really don't say the N-word on TV, so they adopted the thug to try to put that image on us. But I don't care how they view me. That's me personally, because, you know, I don't define myself, or I don't think blacks should define themselves by European standards. It's two different standards.
Right, and even the president said thugs, and that was basically him trying to say that you guys were basically calling y'all niggers, but instead he used the word thugs. And even, I guess it was the councilman said it on CNN. He was like, just call them niggers if that's what you want to say. So he actually brought it out, you know, saying, like, we're not just going to label them this. You really want to say that. So, I mean, it was a real controversy over that word, and to this day he's not taking that statement back. But to me, I feel as though he's raising two daughters. He's not raising two black sons in America. So he's completely biased on this whole situation. I mean, from the first Trayvon Martin, and you had Mike Brown and Eric Gardner, how many more do we have to keep going through? And he never addresses the families in a certain way and apologizes, but he can pick up the phone and call a black gay man that's in the NFL and say, oh, congratulations, I'm glad you came out. But he never actually, you know, comes to these families and, you know, just it's crazy. It's hard to explain, but, I mean, what kind of president do we have for him to do that?
We have a president that's forefront of white supremacy. We have, I mean, he's not for black people. You know, that's already has been proven. Like, he's not for black people.
And he's a closet homosexual.
Yeah.
Go by what the white folks are saying about him. I mean, they got all these cases, all these people that he was messing with died, 3 of them broke. We did a show about it. You know, that's all he can do is he goes all the way back into the past and pull out homosexuals like Rustin, Martin Luther King's advisor, and gives him post-mortem medals of honor for being gay. But you don't hear him saying nothing about black people being abused. You just want to call them thugs, tell them to pull up their bootstraps, and you can make it in America. And matter of fact, I think I heard today on RT News where he said that blacks are being helped in America just as much as whites are being helped in America because of the good economy. I said, what good economy? People got jobs paying $6 and $7 an hour, got to work 2, 3, 4 jobs just to sustain. They can't even have a relationship with their children because they're out there trying to work. And then if you can't take care of them, they target black people's families to come take their children with children's services. If you go inside services to visit anybody, you will notice that it's 90-1 black children versus white children. Like, white people don't do bad things to their children or don't whip their children, and most of these things are coming from parents that just whip their children. And the children know now that the parents can get in trouble, and they want to get away, and they don't want to listen to their parents, and then adolescents not even thinking straight because they got so many hormonal changes going on. then they will go out there and call these people for their protection, and then they get messed up. I was watching the program today where the girl said she got raped from the age of 6 all the way up into 18 till she got out of the foster homes. And then her brother came on and said he was raped. You know, so it's a lot of stuff going on. They're taking our children, breaking up our families, just like slavery all over again, even though we never was out of slavery. We just were tricked to believe that we were out, but we've never been out. Because as long as you're working here to build the white man's civilization and you're not building an alternate civilization for yourself, you're a slave. So that's the paradox. And what's happening is the white man been using us for cannon fodder in his wars, using us for everything, experiments, drugs. They're pushing on the community, all kinds of experiments. Schools. When I was coming up, they tried these new schools out on us before they took them out to the whites. You know, so they've been using us for the longest. Read this book called Medical Apartheid. I mean, it's time for our people to stand up against this evil and take back our humanity and take back our own destiny into our own hands. I love them brothers who's riding there. Teachers of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey is the best way. Don't focus on these white folks. Stop bothering with them. Stop begging them for their jobs, and let's create our own stuff within our own community and educate our youth and our older people. Start going to these churches and stuff and educating them about the power and unity and buying from ourselves and taking back our communities and creating our own economic destiny. Mm-hmm. Queen Ebony.
Right, and also when I was looking into Baltimore, they said the unemployment rate is so high and the poverty rate is high as well, and that also plays a part why the police are. If you have a community that basically is drug infested, of course the police are going to use extra force, and it needs to be police reform within these broken down communities. And also, it's not even that. We have to police ourselves and get our own kids off the street. Like he said, build up our own community with our own stores and, schools. Also, just teaching these kids, give them another outlet besides just, basketball or football. That is a good way, too, to get them off the streets as well. But, put them in different classes like drama classes, acting classes, music or dance lessons that'll get these young children off the streets, so it won't look like, oh, they're just standing on the corner and they're rip-raps, so let's come and stop them and pull them over and beat on them and stuff like that. So in these communities, we need to start having these different programs in all the major cities: Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, New York City, Baltimore, Oakland, California, all these cities where it's just the population has no jobs, the poverty rate is high, and it looks like we're being desperate and we're being hopeful, but that's not the case. We already know that it's one-sided when it comes to the black communities. So also, I was reading, they said that Freddie Gray had a case with the police, and he won, I think, a $50,000. He had made a case against the brutality of domestic violence or something on the city of Baltimore Police Department. So this was last year that it came out, and it was $50,000. So now, a year later, now you see them beating him, almost beat that man's spine half to death, threw him in the back of the police van, and he's dead. So it's too many coincidences going on with this case, and they're trying to cover it up and hide it and, not bring things out to life. And that's what's making, the black people more angrier, because it's like you're trying to cover this up, but we need to know the full information. So did you hear anything about that with, him having a case, I think, last year and winning the money? And do you think that was true, and that's why they were angry enough to beat him that way and kill him in that sense?
I'm not sure about that, but I heard one of the officers had a run-in with him a few years ago, and he ran into him again. That's the story I was hearing. Then another story I'm hearing that they was calling him an informant, that they was saying he was a snitch, but they don't that because, look at the area and look how they handled that. If he was this snitch that they talk about, they wouldn't have did that. They would have let the community know and, let stuff happen. But I don't believe none of that at all. I think what I truly think is that story about that lieutenant being, mental, because there's a story about him being mental. One of them was Howard County. Somebody took his guns a few years ago because he was mental, and I don't know how he ended up on the police force. But he had a run-in with Freddie Gray a few years ago, and this time, I guess he decided to try to take him out. But I'll look into that case of him because I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what was circling around the media a little bit.
Yeah. I want to ask him this question here. Now, there's some pictures going around on Facebook with black people handing the police water and pretzels and, refreshments and all kinds of stuff. Is that true, or are they you think they set this up to make it look like it, or is it scare black people? They're scared enough, and then they said it was a black church and civilians that blocked the police from the rioters. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, all that's true. Like a buddy of mine put the picture up. Actually, you could see is men standing in front protecting the police. Like, white supremacy got us thinking that their law is right no matter what, and that's a damn shame that you will let them harm your sisters and brothers. I'm pro-black. It don't matter what a black person do. I stick by them 100%, right or wrong, because whites gonna stick by each other 100% right or wrong. But yeah, you did have them handing out water and pretzels and everything to the police, and you did have them protecting the police, standing in front of them.
They know not what they do, brother. Because the same police may kill one of their people in their family next. Will they be passing water out and cookies and cake and smoothies and everything to the police then? Nah, because most Negroes don't become militant until it comes to their front door, and we got to understand if we don't pull together to combat this atrocities being done on black people in America, it's just going to get worse. I mean, you're going to be getting getting shot for jaywalking, or just walking out there, period. And the brother was 25 years old, had a whole fight in front of him. 25 and he's gone. And but are you saying, because when you said that he hit his head, are you saying that he did this to himself on purpose? Or are you saying that they was giving him a rough ride? And this is what they're saying on the news. The police gave him a rough ride, so he'll be bouncing around in the back of the truck.
If you look at the video, look how his neck is turned.
Mm-hmm.
Look how his neck is turned, and he's yelling, and he barely could walk. So when they threw him in, if he couldn't straighten himself up. He just was going wherever the bumps went. That's where he went, because it looked like he barely could move. They said his neck was 80% from his spine. They said that's no car ride can do that.
Mm-mm.
No car ride can do that. With
that
my,
sound like
I rode in, work trucks, like I'm Mack trucks with no seatbelt, and I done got in an accident with no seatbelt. I done got dinged up, but nothing like that. And I done been in the back of work vans, no seatbelt on. So it's impossible for him to sustain them injuries by that.
Yeah, they said they beat him and then shackled not only his arms but his legs. So you can't even move your arms or your legs. Then they throw you to the floor in the back of a van. First of all, the ventilation system is the air is so thick and stale, and you on a dirty metal floor. He probably could barely even breathe, move, and it was hollering in pain like that. They made 4 before they went into the back to the police station. Now they know that was wrong.
Yeah, one of the stops that they made was they say what I'm hearing is Mosier and Fremont. Like I'm familiar with that area, and there's no police cameras around there. So what went on when they stopped right there?
Right. They probably was torturing that man.
Yeah.
And now they trying to cover it up. And you see they gave the black man that was the driver the murder conviction. The other 3 white officers, they going to say manslaughter. And then the one black girl, they say manslaughter too. So they facing 20 years. So you might as well charge them all. You know what I mean? Don't just charge the one black man. You got to charge them all with the same thing. You know, just because one was driving and the other one was beating on them, it's all the same. You know, they all committed murder in my eyes, not just manslaughter. So you see how they trying to turn the whole thing around to make it just seem like, oh, it's the driver's fault because he was the black man. So I mean, we'll see how this case sticks with they said it's the black DA and the black mayor. They don't even respect her. So her name is, what is it, Stephanie Blake or something like that?
Yep.
The mayor.
Stephanie Rollins Blake.
Yeah, they don't even respect her. Then they got the black girl, that's the DA. She claims, oh, my fathers and my grandfathers and uncles and aunts were all police officers. So right then and there, that should tell you something. You know,
well,
that is going to be
more biased towards the police.
Right. That's already biased right then. And then watch them try to do a change of venue, because of all these events in Baltimore, they're going to try to request a change of venue for the trial, because they're going to say, well, we can't get a fair hearing in Baltimore due to the riots and all the protests. So they're going to do that's the main part of the whole trial, is to change the venue, probably to a whiter neighborhood where they don't have that police brutality and all of that. So you have to watch in mind a lot of that legal stuff that's going on, and that's why we need to educate ourselves on you know, more than just, you know, what it is now. We need more black lawyers, we need more black scientists, more black doctors. You know, that way we can, you know, have black people on all sides of the fence.
Yeah, but I was talking to a buddy of mine, and, you know, we need more black policemen, police in black communities, because when you have a white cop that probably never been around blacks, don't know what we do, you know, that's where the problem comes. That's where, you know, black people, we like to hang out in front of houses. We like to hang out in front of liquor stores. You know, that been going on for years. So when you have a white cop that never seen that, when he see a whole bunch of blacks, he thinking, we doing something wrong. So of course he hop out, harass, and do whatever. But, you know, you have the wrong policemen policing these neighborhoods.
So how about the Miss Mother who they say she saved her son from getting killed because she beat him down into the house because he wanted to ride against the police? What are the people in Baltimore saying about her? Is she a hero or what?
Media calls her a hero, but she an actor from The Wire.
Okay.
Yeah, That was set up.
Whose mom was that? Bodie's mom? I mean, not Bodie. The young boy with the braid.
Yeah. The one that sold her son those drugs. Yep.
I knew she looked familiar, but to me that was simple, because why would you do that and embarrass your child on national television, right? Then she had a little 15 minutes of fame on Today or whatever in the CNN news. But the whole thing is, now imagine if it wasn't for a riot and you was busting your son upside your head, they would have called DHS on you immediately. And with all them other football players that spanked their child, now they going through DHS, but now they calling her a hero.
Well, they just like they set up the hug where that little black boy was hugging the cop in Ferguson, and that was a setup too, because you know the mainstream media is there to make y'all guys look bad. And I see they heckle Geraldo out of there. I was hoping somebody punched him in his mouth, you know, because I can't stand his little so-called Puerto Rican Jew, you know. And he's a disgrace to Puerto Rico if he's really Puerto Rican. But that's what he claims, he's Puerto Rican and Jewish. And he can't stand black people, you know. And it's for years you see him on television and everything. I used to want to snatch him through the screen and beat the living daylights out of him. And I'm so glad that brother heckled him out there. It looked like he was scared. Did you see or hear anything about that, Geraldo being there?
No, I didn't hear, but I'll look into it and let you know.
Well, I seen it on the news feed, Geraldo there getting heckled by the people out there. You know, the brother was telling him that he's here just to film the bad things. But you're not, the same thing that you were saying, you're not trying to get to the root of the situation. You just want to say thugs and everything. And I mean, Obama, I can't believe that, you know, he's almost out of office and everything, and the only thing he can do is identify all black people as thugs. Just because they're uprising and in poverty. You know, because the poverty situation is being perpetrated on black people. They took all the black men jobs, most of them jobs anyway, and then they gave the women the jobs, and then they had their women thinking that if you wasn't in the class that she was in, you're unworthy to be with her. You know, they done played so many scientific, social engineering programs on black people, it's beyond compare. Astro, the Mike. Is Astro still with us? I don't know. Astro kind of disappeared.
Well, I just wanted to touch on when we went to the protest in Philadelphia, it was more whites and for the LGBT community raising a rainbow flag than anything. And as soon as the march, they started protesting down the Broad Street, it broke out into a fight. Next thing you know, 2 black men was arrested. Okay, well, where was the white people that started all of the whole commotion? So, you know, they're desensitizing the whole movement with the, all rights matter, all people matter. And I'm sitting here looking at these kids like, are you serious? I mean, I don't understand it. If this is the city of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, we should have been out there going strong and going hard. But you know how that is. I mean, they're not taking this movement serious as they should. Truth, Doctor, what did you have to chime in on that?
It's going to get serious. I think Astro got cut off, but I think we got him back now. Astro, you back with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
All right. Yeah, Brother Ballard, being a citizen of Baltimore, give us the view from the ground and paint a picture for your brothers and sisters across the nation about the heavy-handed tactics and the Nazi-style tactics that are being used to change the scene and convert Baltimore into a Nazi, really a martial law police state. Since
a concentration camp.
Exactly. Since all the activism and the rebellion against white supremacy has been initiated in the aftermath of this case.
basically, I think, because the National Guard is still here, so that kind of get me thinking that they're not going to convict them. So they want, honestly, I think they just want to see how fast they can lock down a predominantly black city with martial law to see how see how we would act, because I guess from what other cities get from The Wire, they might think, oh, because when I go out of town, tell people I'm from Baltimore, first thing they ask, is it really like The Wire? Is it really like The Wire? So I'm guessing that if they would try to get us under some type of martial law, then other cities, it would probably be easier for them to do it to other cities. But it would probably be a war, because even on a curfew, we were still outside. And you had young guys out there shooting dice, doing whatever. Even with the curfew, people were still out. So whatever they do, whatever they trying to do, we're not going out without a fight. And I was driving past a shopping center, and when you got two guys with 40s on their hip and assault rifles just standing there, you think, what is to become? So that neo-Nazi, that Nazi, they really trying it now.
Yeah, remind the listeners. I mean, in the aftermath of Katrina, the Katrina hurricane, it took a week for them to mobilize support. But how quickly did the Secret Service and the Gestapo tactics hit Baltimore to suppress black activism and black liberation?
About 2 hours. About 2-3 hours. Once they said the National Guard has been alerted, like 25, 30 minutes, someone tweeted a picture, like they on the highway, they on their way. And next thing you know, they was there, National Guard here. It took probably 2-3 hours for them to get here. But when this comes to helping and aiding black people, they take their time. But when it's come to destroy or fight against black people, they right on time.
Exactly. And like that mother, what is the people saying about her? The so-called mother, they all say that she was an actress.
Yeah, she's an actress from The Wire.
Is she a poor actress now, or they just used her?
I think they just used her as a prop, to try to. What what they do is they just throw little smoke screens out there to get your mind away from everything, to take your mind off of that, to put in your mind, oh, if this mother beating her son, then what's going on could be wrong. So the media play mind games because they have the power to put an image in your head for you to see it the way that they show it.
Well, one of the most disgusting scenes to me wasn't even that, even though it was fake, was them passing out water and all them big, strong brothers standing up in front of the police to block them off from their own people. To me, that was the two most disgusting scenes I've seen. You didn't see that crap in Ferguson.
Nope.
And actually, they cordoned off some projects in New York and had the people under martial law in New York last year or early this year. But a lot of people didn't look at that. A lot of people, let that go, and the news died about it and everything. But I'm thinking, just like you're thinking, this is like a dry run to see how long it will take them to neutralize and imprison blacks in the whole city, because it is a plan. to do something to black people. It was a plan called the King Alfred Plan. Some people said it was real. Some people said it was fake. You know, and it was talking about hauling us all off at the concentration camps and then, you know, killing us all to get us out of this population. And you can kind of like tell it by no jobs, most everywhere you go. And I've been in like about 6 cities this year, and all you see is brothers sitting out on stoops everywhere you go. Like you said, they hanging in front of the liquor store. They hanging in the parks. They hanging on the block. You know, they everywhere but working. So, like you said, when it comes to doing something for black people, they're slow. But when it comes to doing something to black people, they fast as hell. Go ahead, Astro.
Right. And speaking of Gestapo tactics and militaristic subterfuge, it's hit the you know, it's hit the airwaves in some circles, especially that the media is using these scare tactics and red herrings called riots, because these are the things that they have, that the white supremacists themselves and the government has worked hard in order to incite. And the fact that last Monday, when the students were caught in fights with the police, that schools have been let out early by the city government, and that the bus systems have and the bus system that takes kids home after school had been shut down without any of the parents or the families being notified. And then so they make it seem as if there's an organic fight that started out between the police and our young brothers and sisters at the mall, but they were actually corralled and harassed into doing this. What can you shed some light on this situation and clarify some of the details of what actually happened last Monday?
Yeah, what happened was they said they received info that students at 3:00 would start riding up Mondawmin. You know, Mondawmin is where we go to shop. Like, they generate so much revenue than any other. Well, that's the only mall we really have in the city besides downtown. But so around 3:00, you know, students let out. Mondawmin is a major transportation port. You got the subway. You got a lot of buses. So a lot of the kids use that to get home. So in the midst of that, they come out, they see police in full riot gear, you know. So words get exchanged, going back and forth. But, you know, like you said, everything was shut down, so how was the kids going to get home? So they see police in riot gear. Your mind going to think it's war, you know. So it started off as throwing rocks at the police, and then that's when, you know, they just took over the city.
And how about these white, I call them movement neutralizers, that they sent into the black protests? And I seen a picture of them on Facebook looting the store.
Yeah. They they send them in to start it. And once you mad, you on the heat of the moment, of course you're going to join in. So once they got it started, you know, we just ran, you know, finished it out and everything. But they do that. There's a couple pictures floating around where they got masks and stuff on, and they are looting. But, you know, no one calls them out on it, you know. We get the blame for everything. It's all set up to make us look bad.
And right here in the city of Philadelphia, me and Queen Ebony, we went down to the protest supporting Baltimore. We didn't know that the white socialists was going to be running it, and they with their black lackeys. And I seen some of the main ones out there. I'm not going to call no names, but they were out there. And then after, because we weren't doing no marching, because like I said, we're against the marching thing. It's nothing but wasting the leather on your shoes, as far as I'm concerned, unless you're marching into battle. But just marching, carrying some signs, it's not my thing. Because that'll go against all the principles that I've learned about Garveyism and how we should just be building, sticking together, and spending within our own community and loving our own selves enough to buy from your fellow brother some stuff that you can get from the Asian, probably better stuff. Because black people used to have a diet that we ate. I mean, it was a black food. It was collard greens, sweet potato pie, and pecan pie and cakes and everything you can name. Grandma used to make, and we used to have stores.
But now I'm seeing more and more black businesses opening up, soul food spots, and I'm loving it. But at one point, I had to go to the Koreans. I had to go elsewhere to find, food because it was around. But now I'm starting to see, I guess the soul food thing is starting to get big right now because it's about 3 in a 5-mile radius of me, and that's the only place I really go to eat. I support them to the fullest.
That's wonderful, and that's a wonderful thing. Well, we need one on every corner and run these damn Chinese out. Black people need to stop eating that Chinese food because you don't even know what you're getting in the first place. It could be cat, dog, whatever. And they nasty. You go into places, they nasty looking. The health department don't bother them, but as soon as a black man open up a store, here comes the health department. The health department's ready to shake him down if he got some dust on the floor. So, and then the bad part about it, the city is being ran by some black people, like here in the city of Philadelphia. We got a black mayor, but we know he's just a front for white folks, and that's everywhere. He can't seem to do anything in the community. Everything's going up. All the new construction, most of it, 90% of it, or 99% of it, is going up in the new areas that white folks gentrified. Now, that area in Baltimore where white folks gentrified and had stores and cafes and everything, is it true that they went there? Because I heard that a white woman broke the window out. I seen a picture going around on Twitter. What happened in that area there?
Can you repeat that? I couldn't hear you. You was breaking up.
In the downtown area where it was gentrified by white folks, where the white shops and cafes and everything at, they said that the brothers attacked that area. Did they?
The only was the harbor. That was it. Brothers didn't attack that. But when they were setting fire, the fires wasn't spreading. They were just popping up. So I think it was people intentionally. It looked more like Jew lightning for real because how the fires was popping up, they were just popping up randomly. They wasn't like whole rows. It's just like one building on fire. Over here, another building. Over here, a little shop. So a lot of them was somebody was setting them, maybe for insurance or maybe for other stuff, but a lot of them that was set fire, people was doing it. I don't think the rioters, the protesters was doing that because, what do one gain by a senior citizen home that they trying to build? All it was a foundation and stones and wood. Like, what would they get out of burning that down?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Not one thing. And I can't see them doing that myself because a lot of times, like nicely in Michigan, they had this night called Hell Night. It was like they had like 2 Halloweens and they had two I call it 2 Valentine's Day because they had this Sweeties Day. Because the sister was like, you ain't getting me nothing for Sweeties Day? I said, what the heck is that? Oh, she said, I forgot you ain't from the Midwest. And then they had this Hell Night where they be burning up stuff. But most of it is landlords either burning their own stuff for insurance or having some black person to come and burn it down for them. So I can see that. And in Ferguson, they showed a whole video of the police setting the fire inside an auto joint. They threw an incendiary device into a car, and that lit up, and I guess that exploded or whatever and lit the building up. So a lot of this stuff they're trying to push, and I warn black people, Don't let them trick you into getting killed when we could come together and start loving each other and start doing business with each other and start making shit again that we can sell to each other. Then we will be all right. But long as we keep on this track of begging them and doing this and that. Now, I'm not saying that the police kill you, don't react. But as far as I'm concerned, if they kill one of us, triple of them should be taken out. Because if they're killing us unjustly all across the country, we got to take a stand. Because men take stand. You know, when you a slave and a boy and you all messed up from white supremacy and thinking that you can vote your way out or beg your way out with signs and stuff, you're delusional. Because we've been doing this stuff for over 450 years, pleading with these people just to leave us the hell alone and let us live in peace just like any other man in this country. But it's not happening. It's never going to happen. That's why Marcus Garvey said we need our own homeland. Because it's never going to happen. They're never going to treat us right. I mean, all the legislation and laws and everything that they pass don't mean a damn thing. When you got racist white folks in their mind, they scared of black competition because they know how we was coming up out of slavery. We was running hard when we came up out of slavery, and we was separate. And we was doing our own thing in many, many places across America. And they seen that. They seen that before we seen that. Then they came up with this integration stuff so they can take control of your economic destiny. And that's why you broke and poor now in the hell of North America. So
Anybody have any more questions before I get off? Because it's getting late and I'm have some things to
go ahead. Yeah, we know it's getting late. You got to hit that job tomorrow. So we gonna close out. Anybody else got anything to ask the brother before we close out? I don't think they do. So we're gonna close out, and we thank Brother Double R for coming on our show, and we hope that he comes on again if there's more information that we can use to get out to the people to find out what's going on down there in the city of Baltimore. They like to call it B-more. And this has been another episode of Wake Up African People. Good night.
Good night.